Come in,
nice
everybody.
Nice pop out to third base there.
But I pimped it. It felt good off the bat.
By the way, I'm not sure if I saw that right, but I think one of the kids on the infield got hurt right now. Because I just looked up and it looked like some kid was being carried off the field.
Oh, no. In the home run derby?
This massive injury in the home run derby.
Oh. Bless up.
I'm not even sure if that's what it was. It was just like a quick glance.
Oh, they didn't want to show that on TV.
That's true, yeah. You don't want to.
Y'all said y'all wanted violence. You're welcome.
I guess in the home run, ESPN's taking the home run derby in a whole different direction these days.
Oh, boy.
Shout out CEO Nick celebrating his anniversary.
Hey, there you go.
Bringing back whatever terrible strain of mosquitoes from Mexico. Jaime, our Gold Cup insider.
Yes.
Although, I have the Gold Cup Bible here, which we'll get into a little bit later. Giving us an update there. And thank all of you for joining us on this Monday evening. It's kind of, it's a weird day because slow week probably because of the baseball thing, but producer Tanaya is just staring at me. Yeah. We're on. You're freaking me out.
Okay. Hey, producer, way to know when we're on the air and not on the air.
There's a light. There's not a light. That's your fault.
It wasn't in the budget.
I digress. As I was saying, not a busy week coming up in sports, but
no, not at all.
A very busy weekend over the weekend in sports. So lots to get into there and recap. Tyler, how are you doing this Monday evening, and how did you fare this weekend?
Not too bad. I did get to catch a bit of sports, not as much as I had hoped, but still got to catch quite a bit. Of course, we'll have a nice discussion about the UFC fight. Pete Alonso also officially won, to nobody's surprise, the home run derby.
B2B.
But B2B, sort of. B to blank space to B.
Yeah.
I don't know.
B, shrug emoji.
Yeah.
To B.
But all in all, man, not bad. Ron, how was your weekend?
Good weekend. Did get to go up and see the folks and my sister's family, including their new baby. So everyone in the same place for the first time in forever, since the unpleasantness. So happy for that.
Since the before times.
Yeah, since the before times. But wow, it is hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
I knew it was hot. Tyler knows it's hot. But you forget, when you're away, just how hot that hot really means when you got to go back to your car at 10:30. Just from the, we're talking 35 feet, just like, oh, God, what the hell? Run back inside to air conditioning.
And we were talking about that a little bit on Friday, how, you were saying, I believe you, like, I understand people in San Diego. I understand it's all relative to what you're used to. Ron was saying it was, like close to 90 degrees, I think, on Friday. And I was just like, yeah, like it doesn't drop below like 95 here anymore. Like it's just all night. It's in the 90s.
Well, you're in it now. Like you're in it. You're in that period of being in it. So I agree. And, maybe it's good to go just up there to visit occasionally. It was a quick turnaround trip. I wish we could have stayed a little bit longer, but did have to work today. And it's not as hot as it was last week here, but it just resets you like, oh, thank God. Like 80. 80. It's freezing out here.
Yeah, you have to break it out your sweater for the show.
And get the snow jacket on.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to see you, but I am glad that you got to visit the family. I did see the photos that went up on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. So glad you got to visit all your family.
Thank you, and it was a good time had by all. Yeah, too quick, but again, still worth the trip. And got to see a decent amount of the sports, although I kind of blamed the Dodgers yesterday. I was just right in that perfect, like, I'm going to take this nap. It's going to be great. And it was like the 8th inning, and I was like, they're going to win. I know they're going to win. Against the Diamondbacks, like, Josh Reddick couldn't catch or even pick up or like lost control of his hands at some point. Like
Shame.
they were
Real shame.
throwing it, kicking it around all over the field. I was like, oh, this is happening. This is happening for sure. They end up getting the walk-off, and then, of course, after that, I can't take a nap. But anyway, got to see a little bit of the finals game. Let's go into that.
Okay.
I didn't see, all of it, but I was focused on something that we'll get to a little bit later because it seemed like the Bucks were taking care of business. Suns actually jumped out on them in the first quarter, which I didn't really see much of, but the Baron in his command center man cave, every time I popped in there, he was like, yeah, the Suns were up. And then I'm like, well, how come the Bucks are up by 8 now? He's like, yeah, they're kind of blowing it. And just sort of kept their foot on the gas into halftime and back out of halftime, and it wasn't really ever in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I was kind of talking with CEO Nick a little bit earlier about it. Like, I almost feel like at this point in time, just with how he's gone off the last couple of games, the Suns kind of have to treat this series now like how Denver was treated earlier of like, look, Jokic, he's going to do his thing. You can't stop him. You got to shut down everybody else. Like, I mean, Giannis back-to-back games of 40 and 10, or 40 plus and 10 plus. I mean, he's out of his mind right now, and there's nothing Phoenix can do to stop him. If they put Ayton on him, he just outmaneuvers Ayton. If you put anybody else small on him, you just got to back him down and score inside. So, again, you just got to let Giannis do his thing, and you just got to say, all right, like, we can't let Holiday have Holiday Middleton didn't even have, like, amazing games, but they had good enough games. Like, they just – I think Phoenix has to shut that down now.
Yeah, and before that really gets going, because that's always a possibility. It's only 2-1 right now. I mean,
right.
You got the first two, which was good, and it seemed, pretty impressive. Even though Giannis looked healthy, that made it even more impressive. Like, okay, well, still not really getting that much from the supporting cast, but that game or those games are out there. So, yeah, and Ayton came out really fast. That kind of is really what pushed him to that lead. But Giannis has just been on like the warpath, and seemingly he looks like it's like game 2 of the season all of a sudden after like his knee went backwards.
Yeah, it's crazy bizarre. I mean, look, I think you made the comparison last week. Like, it is a lot like the Fernando Tatis situation earlier, where it's like, you see it from an outside perspective, you speculate, say, like, it doesn't look good, but obviously we don't know. We're not there looking at the X-rays, talking to the experts. Whatever they're doing with him now, he's fine, because he, like, fucking hell, it's unreal. Like, he really looked like that injury looked like it should have taken him out for the entire playoffs, and now he's out here putting up historic numbers. So whatever Milwaukee's doing, if they win the finals, their training staff is the MVP, unquestionably.
The real MVP, as some would say.
Sure.
But yeah, and the other part of that thing too, when you see what it just appears to be a horrible looking injury, is that these are freakishly athletic world-class athletes. So
true.
That I probably would never walk again if that happened to me, but I'm not Giannis, so I could beat him in a free throw contest, but that's it.
That's true. Big fat out of shape me sleeps wrong, and I'm like, I think I might have to come to work today.
No, I'm out. I'm day to day.
We're good. I can't come in and answer phone calls, so let's come on. We got to move on here.
I can't hit the button where it goes to my headset.
Yeah.
I don't want to show up if I'm not 100%. I want to help the team.
Yeah, man, my neck it doesn't turn right after the way I slept on it. So it's yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. These dudes are just freakish athletes. They have some of the best access to some of the best medical staffs in the world. So it's really impressive what he's doing. But you still got to think Phoenix is still in a good position. Like, worst case scenario, they lose this next game. It's 2 out of 3. They still have home court. Best case scenario, they win, and now Milwaukee's in full on panic mode. So I don't think Phoenix is going to be too bummed about this loss. Kind of a weird game, kind of like you. Like, I didn't see the whole thing beginning to end. I saw good portions of it. It just did feel like they didn't have. Like, I feel like everybody on their team had between 8 and 17 points. They just didn't have that one person that they could all right, you're hot today. We're turning to you. It's all you. They just didn't have it this game, but I mean, they should still be fine.
And what I saw too, we've been talking about like Middleton or Holiday not really just having that like insane game yet, but every time the Suns did go on like a little 7-point run or something like that, the Bucks did have an answer. They would just hit a three, something to kind of like just pop the balloon a little bit, and never get them quite. I don't know if they ever got it closer than like 6 when they were trying to come back after that second quarter. So the Bucks did what they had to do. As you said, though, the Suns are still in a pretty favorable spot. Best case scenario, you steal, the next one, and you're up 3-1 going back home. Worst case, it's 2-2 going back home. So,
sorry, I had the Celebrity All-Star game on off to my left here, and the leadoff hitter DK Metcalf struck out swinging in a celebrity softball game.
Oh man! While we're on the topic of great athletes, so I'm not going to shame him too much. We saw what he did to Buda Baker. He acquitted himself nicely in that track meet for someone that's that big.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have another celebrity softball game insider. CEO Nick on the program has agreed to be that for us this evening. So joining us on the Corey's Market and Liquor Celebrity Hotline, Corey's Market and Liquor, 2132 University Avenue. We do check IDs at Corey's Market and Liquor. Please believe that. CEO Nick joining us on the program.
So yes, just to confirm, DK Metcalf has struck out on 4 pitches. Shout out to Quavo for his miraculous work at the plate right there. Jojo Siwa, TikTok influencer, just pretty much scored right now on an inside the park, what appears to be inside the park home run. Too much madness going on as I see the Miz jumping around like an idiot somewhere. If you could calm that down, because he has a so-called knee injury.
All right. Well, thank you, CEO Nick. Stay on hold. We need those updates.
Quavo with the second out on the pop-up. Ho-ho!
We will come back to you, CEO Nick. That all reminded me of when they do the CBS, the radio version of like Around the NFL, where they like it's just the dudes calling in from like the Browns game. Yeah, it's the third quarter here. They just went 3 and out. It's just like that's the excitement that I wanted right there. Just like boom, boom, boom. Keeping us up to date, and of course on the Corey's Market Liquor Celebrity Hotline.
Gotta appreciate that.
Back to one comment that the Baron did bring up. USA Basketball now 0-2 in exhibition games in these tune-up games. Yes, the team has not been together that long, but looking not so great as far as at least playing defense. But we do have an update, an announcement from Kevin Durant's team. He will be changing citizen. He will be a naturalized Australian citizen coming up. His next chapter will be playing for the Australian national team. So we wish him well in the future.
He's taking the hardest road. The hardest road there.
Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't seen either of the games. I've kind of, I don't know, I consider it more like a preseason, kind of like a pre-Olympics thing. Like the loss to Nigeria sucks, but like my initial thought was like, all right, like these guys are just coming to it. They don't like really care. You pointed out to me these games are in Vegas, so they're probably sweating out the demons while they're playing. Then losing back to back, Nigeria and Australia, like not a good look. I'm still not really worried. Like I think they will turn up when the actual games mean something, but yeah, it's pretty tough look.
Hey, if you're going in the Olympic bubble, which is like no one know anything, so they have no choice but to lock in and wrap that up as quickly as possible.
Well, so maybe that's it. Maybe since they know they're going to be locked up while they're in Tokyo, they're getting everything out in Vegas,
enjoying what's left of their summer. Yeah, but like we'll see.
Tough look, but I'm still not overly concerned about it.
Real quick, we did have the home run derby, as you saw. Hopefully, again, we're hoping for the safety of that child, the unnamed child. Hopefully, everything was okay. But Pete Alonso,
if that is what it was, that was just a quick glance look that I saw. Yeah.
Again, hold on. Always a good time.
That's
we don't know. We don't know. We're not, in a position to say. But Pete Alonso did win again. Had a pretty awesome first round performance on a cool looking bat. I got to give him that. He does seem to have a little bit of sort of a playful, like, dry humor troll in him too whenever he is interviewed on, especially the national broadcast that I've seen him on. Usually signing off with LFGM. Just if you know, you know. Not something you could say the full words of on TV, but let's take a look at the starting lineups for tomorrow before we maybe touch back in with the celebrity. Well, they might be in a commercial, so we'll give it a second for our Celebrity Softball Insider. But for the American League, Shohei Ohtani leads off and starts pitching the game, which I was a little nervous about after his first round performance. Yeah, at the beginning, I was like, man, what if this guy wins the home run derby, leads off, and starts the game pitching? That would be the ultimate Ohtani move. But even after the first regulation round, he was looking extremely tired. Then it went to the overtime, tied again. Then it went to the 3 pitches. I was like, oh man. And he popped out on the first one. I was kind of like, that's probably for the best. It's probably for the best.
That might have been intentional. He might have just been like, man, I can't.
Is he showing bunt? Oh, what a disgrace.
Fans just throwing garbage on the field at the home run derby.
You hate to see that. This is a game for the fans. Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you, though. It probably is for the best that he did advance past the first round, just because this will be it will be turning. You're right. Especially because he started out really slow. I think it was a full minute before he even got his first home run.
Yeah. And
then he kind of really ramped it up the last couple minutes. So, yeah, he was definitely looking very tired. So probably for the best that he didn't advance any further. Now tomorrow he can go out there, pit. He'll probably just pitch 1 inning, I'm guessing. Get, a couple at bats in as a DH, and then he can finally get some rest.
Well, the combination of that he was clearly looking tired, and as Tyler said, he started out really slow, and then you could see sort of just grooved into that home run batting practice swing. It's if this goes on all night, who knows how he's going to hit in the second half of the season. So,
well, I think I did see something too that he set the record for most 500-foot home runs in a home run derby. I think he hit 6 in his performance. So, I mean, look, whether you're in Colorado or not, 500 feet is still pretty damn impressive. So, yeah, again, for the best. And they did announce that he will be pitching and playing DH tomorrow, which I'm glad, because I mean it's an All-Star game. It means nothing. So go ahead and break the rules about DH and pitching, whatever. Do it for the best for the fans. But other than that, I mean, this is a pretty good lineup here for the AL. I gotta say, top to bottom.
Big Sal Perez guy. Love Sal Perez. Also a participant.
He had a good showing. He just unfortunately had Pete Alonso in the first round.
Yeah.
I think he hit 28 and still lost by 8 home runs.
Yeah, I know. I think at the end of his round, he was in the second most, but he was against Pete Alonso. So it's oh, well, you're screwed. And we slide over to the National League real quick. Tatis leading off. Definitely exciting. Just whatever he does, probably made the right decision by not participating in this home run derby. But again, apparently his limbs are made out of some kind of compound that normal humans don't have. He seemed to bounce back from that very well when his shoulder was just all kinds of weird looking. And leading the National League in home run. So should be exciting. Muncy with the walk-off yesterday that kept me awake. Thanks. Also, I did see a little bit of the draft that the A's drafted a Max Muncy.
A's drafted a Max Muncy who played ball in Texas and actually has the same birthday as the Max Muncy.
No. All right, it's getting way too weird. I didn't even know about that part.
All that means is he's going to underperform for the A's for a few years. They're going to release him. The Dodgers will pick him up and turn him into an all-star.
Could we possibly see 2 Max Muncys on the same team?
Oh, that would be amazing.
I don't know. The timeline might replace one with the other, but we can dream. We can dream. And the shout out to the Reds outfielders.
Yeah.
Both of them, Castellanos and Winker. Castellanos, obviously, one of our favorite trolls of Rob Manfred. Who the trophy is named after. This freaking guy trophy is named after. A shame
Oh.
that you lose Acuna right before this.
Mhm.
The way that it did happen, but that again, like his didn't look as crazy as Giannis's, and Giannis is like a much longer, like crazier looking leg, and but you could tell right away that he knew he was hurt.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I mean, it kind of when I had kind of forgotten about that when I saw these when the lineups got released. I was like, oh wait, why is Brian Reynolds starting? And it's like, oh, that's right, Acuna's done for the year. But hey, look at that, good on the Pirates getting two starters in the getting two
Yes,
starters in there. I like it. Oh yeah, go Pirates. And
go
neither one of them
Buccos.
is Key Brian Hayes, which like I would not have guessed when the year started.
We all can remember the infamous play against the Cubs. I don't know, but we've moved on so far since then. Look at now, we
That's
got
true.
two All-Stars. Let's go Buccos.
That's right.
Raise the Jolly Roger. Let's dive into before we get to the soccer. I don't know. Tyler has it on there. I don't have a way to see it, but let's bring back in real quickly the celebrity softball insider on the program, CEO Nick. This time coming to you on the Rollerama Celebrity Hotline. Nick, what's it looking like out there?
So I don't know like who decided to bring certain ringers in. Scores 8-3 in favor of Helton over Finch, but the infamous Vinny Castilla came in with a bomb, a
Local favorite.
with a run bomb, and what kind of hurt me as a on the border Yankee fan right now. CC Sabathia playing first base and showing no hustle to catch a pop up. I was like,
Gotta bench him. You can't be having that.
Then let's see, Von Miller showing off his 40 speed, dropping down a bunt to beat out the throw. I was like, okay, I see it. And as usual, the Miz is still acting like an idiot with his apparent knee injury.
He's out there as a decoy, obviously.
Yes.
The Miz is out there pulling a Psycho Sid, getting out of wrestling so he can go play softball.
Oh man, he can play the gimmick. Number two, for the All-Star game. The fact that you have two Pirates now on in the All-Star team. Please, I know it's going to be a heavy task for both first and third base coaches. Please make sure they tag the bag.
Neither guy's the first baseman, so you don't got to worry about that.
Okay. Whew. All right. Even for a home run, make sure just touch the base. Base. All you need.
That's true. Yeah. Again, Key Brian Hayes not there, so you don't got to worry about that.
They're not. Look, the emphasis this year was not fundamentals. All right, it's not fundamentals.
Yes.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. It's not all of us.
And I put in the comments earlier, this just in, apparently now every pitcher in the home run derby is getting checked for a foreign substance. Will this match up?
Oh, man.
God. Man, can't enjoy anything anymore.
No.
No fun league.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys enjoy. I'll keep you up to date with the updates as this game gets more interesting.
All right. Thank you, Nick. And there he goes again on the Rollerama Celebrity Hotline. Thank you, Nick, providing those updates for those that may not be, at the TV, because I know this is appointment viewing every Monday, Wednesday,
absolutely.
and Friday on whatever streaming platform you choose. And a shout out to Jaime, repping the Reds with their two outfielders, Big Red Machine, Eddie.
And good on, like, those guys absolutely deserved it. So good on Winker, good on Castellanos.
Now let's get into the weekend of soccer and also a little bit of the future of soccer. But Saturday, which I did get to see at least the end because I was traveling at the time, Argentina finally did it. They finally did it. Finally got one for Messi. Beating Brazil in a final. Technically neutral, but I think the neutral would be rooting for Messi. Di Maria had a great goal too, which there's always like this whole Messi drought with these international titles always been this, thing of like, well, the rest of the team doesn't play for him. Di Maria's been on a lot of those teams. Like maybe he's had bad games, red cards, whatever. But he had a great goal, played pretty well. Argentina just did what they had to do to win the game. Obviously I was kind of just listening to what was actually the TV broadcast on satellite radio, so not the most descriptive. But and then we stopped to get dinner, and I was able to see like the last 5 minutes of the game. So shout out to Messi.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely thrilled for him. I mean, I know I've always been on the Messi over Ronaldo side, so I'm glad to see he finally got that international cup that has always eluded him. And getting player of the tournament too, obviously well deserved. I mean, most goals and most assists in the Copa America tournament. Real happy for Messi. I know that was kind of the big emphasis on the celebration. Obviously, they all grabbed Messi, threw him in the air, did all kinds of cool stuff, kind of honoring him. I know I had texted you and Justin. I was kind of laughing at believe it or not, Neymar being over dramatic. I know,
What?
very shocking.
What?
Yeah, like him dropping on the ground, looking like what's his name in Platoon, just crying and holding his hands in front of his face. I mean, look, I don't doubt that Neymar was hurting because the team lost, but he was definitely over dramatic and it kind of definitely seemed like he was trying to get the cameras on him and away from the winning team. But shout out Messi, shout out Argentina. Very happy for him.
Well, there is an element to, yes, Neymar is classically overdramatic for sure, but having that final in Brazil, he's going to take a lot of shit, so he's got to look like he's really beaten up about it. And I did see afterwards, in the celebration, he did go over to Messi. They had a good, minute or two long talk, and sort of hugged it out that he was also happy for Messi, but. Yeah, I think anyone that was neutral in that was probably going for Messi and happy that, I guess, Maradona was not going to be caught. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
But
No.
that went out the window a long time ago. But he has tied Ronaldo now with these international trophies. 1 Euro, 1 Copa America.
Yeah, I'm sure Ronaldo was watching that.
Seething.
Curse, just seething while his eunuchs were, feathering him down and feeding him grapes.
I didn't say stop. I'm just mad.
But definitely happy Argentina won. Just I kind of like you, I was hoping for it. I wasn't really expecting it just because Brazil typically wins this tournament, especially being at home. Very happy Messi got that tip off his shoulder.
As a side note, happy to see, and I hope there wasn't any kind of infection fallout from this, but I believe the first game of the entire tournament to be played in front of fans. Definitely
there, yes.
Not close to a capacity crowd, but it always does make a final like that more fun when there's actually fans rooting for both sides. And Messi, at least he's not going to get his one and deal with that. Well, he won in an empty stadium, whatever. There were fans there. People got to see it, witness it. The Argentina fans seem to be pretty happy for him. I saw, several clips of video from back in Argentina where fans were pretty happy about that as well. And beyond that, they always love to beat Brazil. It's just a huge deal. So,
and as far as I know, there weren't fans that were breaking through barriers ticketless to get into the game.
I would assume not. No, but that's a great segue to our next game. And as you may have seen, the title of this program. Sunday, we had the Euro final at Wembley Stadium, England versus Italy. Kind of a strange game just in the fact that I know we talked about it on Friday's show. We thought this was going to be real close to the vest. Two really good defensive teams. Just on paper, relatively equal-ish, I would say. But, in a dogfight like that, if it was going to be maybe 0-0, even going to penalties, I would probably give the edge in that situation to Italy. But England, just with the ideal scenario, just scores immediately. Or at least at that point, seemed like it would be the ideal scenario. But then from that point on, I thought they just sat back. Italy definitely was struggling. England's been a really good defensive team in this tournament. Italy was kind of struggling with not just being able to do whatever they want to like get that next goal. And they didn't really get threatening, I would say, until like the last 15, maybe 20-ish minutes of the first half. Had a couple chances. But then the second half was all Italy. And then they got the goal, and it was even more Italy. And at that point, I felt like England was so committed to, we got the early goal. It's exactly what we wanted. We just have to sit back and like frustrate them. From the standpoint of Italy, once you get that goal, you're like, cool, like pedal down, just keep doing what we're doing. We got the goal, and we got them on their heels. England at that point has to switch back from like the game plan of don't get scored on to now we also have to sub guys in, change the shape of how we're playing to actually try to go score another goal. And I just think that was not really anything they were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely concur with a lot of your analysis there. Like them coming out, Shaw kind of making that kind of full field run without the ball, and that just beautiful cross off to the left to get that first goal in the second minute was just fantastic. And then even the rest of the first half, England obviously wasn't playing with the ball forward, but I still thought they were the better team. They looked better. Italy looked frustrated. Then just everything changed in the second half. Like you said, once Italy was like, all right, like now we know, like we just got to go after it. It was like, it really was the whole second half. You're like, yeah, this is just a matter of time before Italy scores. Like England's not changing anything. Italy is really pressing. I know I had texted you during the game kind of like saying, I know there was a massive drop off at left back between Spinazzola to Emerson. I kind of wonder, like, would this game have been a little bit different? Maybe if Spinazzola was there, like, Italy might have scored quicker, scored more. I don't know, because Emerson wasn't that great. It was definitely weird, once Italy got that goal, England did make some subs. They changed their shape. They went to a 4 at the back instead of 3 at the back like they've been playing. But they never got the attack going. I think the goal was their only shot on goal. Like, they had nothing. And I kind of thought Italy might end this before they get to penalties, but wound up going to penalties. Being, I mean, of course, it had to be dramatic, right? Just for this tournament. And
oh yeah,
cool boy, I mean, first of all, Southgate making the substitutions with like less than a minute left, bringing on Rashford and Sancho, who have played like next to nothing at all this whole tournament. Bring them on like with a minute until PKs. Like, I understand the thought of it, of like, hey, these guys are better scorers than what I've got out there. Like, I'm going to use them, but like maybe bring them on earlier. Like, kind of let them get loose a little bit. Again, they haven't been in the tournament at all. This is like Gordon Bombay putting in Julie Gaffney in the in D2. Just bring her on for that last shooter in the final shootout. Unfortunately for him, it didn't work out exactly as it does in the Mighty Ducks series.
Well, the way that went down at the start of the second extra time period, which actually I will say, and this never got off the ground at the beginning, which was weird. Rashford was about to come in at the beginning of the second extra time, and for some reason they pulled him back. I thought England actually had some of their better, like, up and down, like, attacking kind of plays in that second extra time. Maybe, like, it's too little too late now, but at least like having some kind of plan going forward. Sterling was making things happen. They were at least threatening that they could maybe score a goal for the first time in like an hour. But and then Rashford did get in, and they had to get him in. I think the main thing was get Henderson out because he's really bad at penalties. So
Yes.
I agree with that. But then now it's like, all right, do you want these guys for penalties right now, or now you're gonna have to bring in like guys for defenders? Like Rashford was playing right back at the end of the game,
Yeah.
and he actually played okay. Like he broke up
did
a couple
okay,
plays,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
not. I mean, they both, him and Sancho had maybe 3-4 minutes to run around, and then it's like, all right, penalty shootout for the trophy. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so then we get into the penalties. Again, pretty dramatic. Both goalies just did awesome. I mean, Donnarumma, I swear, that guy, like when he lays out, it feels like he covers over half the goal. Like that dude is huge
Yeah.
in the goal. And then Pickford, again, all tournament he's been great. I mean, I know kind of defensively they haven't given up many shots on goal, but he's been pretty awesome. I mean, the only goal he gave up before this was that just crazy free kick from was that probably like 30 yards out against Denmark.
Well, in the second
great.
half, he had some great saves. I mean, just in the open run of play. He was definitely, Italy was the team with all the momentum attacking, and Pickford was playing great. But not really helped out when, your team cannot get the ball down the field and keep it for more than a minute or two at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they go in there. Harry Kane buries his first PK. I think, both teams made their first, missed their second. Then we got England sends up for their third, fourth, and fifth. They send in Rashford, Sancho, and then Saka, which Rashford goes out there and just, Rashford, real bad sort of stutter
the worst penalty
step.
of all three, I thought. It just, you could tell he was thinking about it too much. Like, he had not picked what he was going to do. Like even a stutter step, all right, guys do that all the time, but it was like a walk to the ball. It was like, what's this guy thinking about right now? And then he just kind of like rolls it straight off the post, left post.
Yeah, real bad, because he's normally very decisive with his penalty kicks from what I've seen with him in the Premier League. So, yeah, that was just real weird. Sancho, not a very good one, too close. Again, like if you're going to bomb it to a side, it's got to go in the corner. Like it can't be just to the goalie's left or right. So he does that. And then big save in the Jorginho PK, which that was surprising because Jorginho is typically an automatic guy. But Pickford made the dive to his right, made that save. So now Saka goes up there. 19-year-old kid has to make the goal. I mean, you're just putting a kid in a tough situation there.
Real bad spot.
I'm not completely knocking guy. It was not a great penalty from him, but he probably should have been in that spot to begin with. So Donnarumma makes a save to his left, and Italy takes the trophy. It is not coming home.
In fact, it is not coming home.
It is not.
Just to answer your question, no, it's not coming home. And as Jaime points out, yes, it is headed home to Rome. I don't know about the logic of having the 19-year-old kid go up there and in that spot. I know the coaches make their picks. Obviously, they do have some communication with the player, like, are you comfortable with that? So I'm not saying that didn't happen.
Sure.
Because I don't think you just make that call and just, okay, we're starting, and you're going to anchor leg. Like, what? Like, what if I wasn't up for it or whatever? So, I'm sure he wanted to do it, but not a good penalty kick and a lot of pressure on a young kid. But as Jaime did point out, Bonucci just went full savage in the celebration.
It's coming to Rome! It's coming to Rome!
Sounding like Triumph the Insult comic dog. It's coming to Rome. It's coming to Rome.
Didn't know Robert Smigel played for them.
Oh, yes.
I think it's really weird. Like, you think about who they still had on there. Like, they still had Grealish. They still had Sterling. So, like, either one of those guys could have taken the PK. And Southgate, of all people, like, knows firsthand experience what
as a
can
former
happen
big PK misser.
Yeah, for a young man to miss a PK in a huge spot, like, he knows what that can do to somebody. So, really, I mean, like you said, like, yeah, coaches don't go out there with a preset, like, you're going to kick here, you're going to kick here. Like, they do ask, like, all right, who's up for it? But it's just really weird to put the kid in that spot.
And, of course, very unsavory by smaller factions of England fans. But, I mean, hard to make people really ever want it to come home acting like that. So get your shit together, England.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate reactions from fans. I mean, I kind of already wasn't rooting for them because of all the fans, like, just storming the stadium and fucking causing riots and shit like that. So I kind of already wasn't rooting for them. And then, afterwards, all the responses they've had to the players that missed was pretty shitty. And again, I understand I understand that probably is a minority of fans, but it definitely makes it hard to root for you in that case.
But fortunately, we can go out on a positive note. And again, congratulations to Italy. Great tournament.
Yes.
An exciting team for Italy, who, a couple years ago was like full rebuild. But they are good enough to rebuild. We have seen that over the years. So usually more of a veteran type team. But this one, I feel like, has some more long-term legs on it. Look at Donnarumma. He's like 20 or something. He's like, if he goes on the Buffon career arc, he's going to be their starting goalie for like 3 World Cups.
I was going to say, they just had like 20 years of Gianluigi Buffon. Now they're going to get like 20 years of Gianluigi Donnarumma. So, yeah, they're set up pretty nicely.
But on brighter news, we do have the most prestigious tournament of the summer, which is the Gold Cup.
Of course.
Drink it in.
You look at this.
There's only one Nations League, of course, but now we have the Gold Cup for some reason in the same summer. Keep doing what you're doing, CONCACAF. But, yeah, you look at the slate, some of these powerhouses, Martinique, Haiti, Canada, even El Salvador. Woo! It's going to be – oh, and also with a like what they would say in golf, a sponsor's exemption, Qatar. Because of their generous donation sponsorship of Qatar Airlines. Thrown into Group D, which is probably the most favorable group also to be in. But, hey, how did that happen? I don't know.
Also, I will say, just look at the roster of players the U.S. is sending over. It is definitely not the best roster that the U.S. has available.
No, I don't foresee. Look, we do one thing, and that's win Nations League. Gold Cup sometimes.
That's it.
But not that much. Usually losing to Mexico. And I'm not even sure if we get to that point. But Mexico did tie Trinidad and Tobago in their first game, which was weird.
Ooh, that's rough.
That is rough. But I wanted to throw a couple factoids out there at Tyler. I wish we had the soccer historian here on the program.
He already knows this stuff, though. I guarantee.
Yeah, this is like light work for him. So this is not going to be anything new for him. But just to put this in perspective, okay? So FIFA rankings. There are 210 teams in the FIFA rankings. Saturday we saw and it's kind of a lagging indicator, as they say, because FIFA doesn't formally announce their live rankings, for a couple months at a time. So I think these are from like the end of May. But based on that, Brazil, number 3 in the world, taking on Argentina, number 8 in the world at that time, which I'm sure will move because, the other one beat the other one.
Right.
England, number 4 in the world on Sunday versus Italy, number 7 in the world. Again, in flux. Moving over to the Gold Cup, I just wanted to quiz you, Tyler, on who is ranked higher in the FIFA rankings.
Oh, God.
So we're going to start with, a little bit easier, and we'll move to hard. I got 4 of these. First picks. Who is ranked higher, Panama or Canada?
Boy, this is the easy one. That's what sucks. I will say
this is kind of a tricky one. I can give you, but I don't want to do it for all.
No hints. No hints.
Well, I was just going to give you one kind of like spelling bee question you could ask is population.
I will say I'll go Canada.
Ding. Correct. Canada, number 70 in the world. Panama, number 78. That was a tough one, actually. That ended up being tougher. But I was just based on teams that are usually around in these elimination rounds. But now it gets a little harder. Costa Rica or Jamaica? Who is ranked higher?
I'm going to go Costa Rica.
Man.
Oh, come on.
Costa Rica clocking in at number 50. Jamaica, number 45 in the world.
That high? Wow.
And I have to say, because I do have the population stats here, Jamaica might be like pound for pound one of the best teams in the world.
Really?
The entire population of Jamaica, 2.7 million. Costa Rica, 5 million. But Canada, number 70, population 38 million. So get it together, Canada. Come on. Can't all be hockey. There's plenty of people up there that can kick a ball. Now, 2 more. The 2 I'm going to give you now. This is a true test of skill and pretty much blind luck.
Blind luck, yes.
Suriname, I don't even know how you say it, if you say it like that, or Grenada. Who is ranked higher?
I'm gonna go. Sorry, I don't. No sound is great for this medium here. I'm gonna go Grenada.
No,
Dang it.
wrong. Grenada clocking in at 160 in the world. So now we're getting treacherously close to that 210. By the way, they are in this tournament, the 160th ranked team in the world, but the drastically overpowered Suriname 136.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, Dutch colony though. They got a few guys that have played over in the Dutch league. And now, I'll put on sudden death right now. It all comes down to this: Martinique versus Guadeloupe. Shout out Sippy, by the way. Clock is ticking.
Give me Martinique.
This one's all bets are off because neither of them are even part of FIFA. They're not even countries in FIFA. They don't have a ranking.
All right. Hang on. I got to give this to me for my performance and you for that last one.
I deserve that. Shout out to Sippy. I see a big dog. Southern Miss to the
Sippy.
top. And shout out to Aqueduct also.
Yeah, that's Aqueduct.
I see a lot
Aqueduct
of heads out there.
Aqueduct is actually ranked higher than Grenada, believe it or not.
You could probably field a team with 11 better guys on like a average afternoon at Aqueduct.
On a Tuesday morning. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's in New York. There's a lot of people play soccer out there. Also, shout out to Shannon. What up, Shannon? Hello to you as well. Jaime, Southern Miss ranked higher than USMNT. It's possible. It's possible.
They could be. They could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
But again, as of May, USA did beat Mexico in the very prestigious and still never lost in a Nations League final. USA was 20 at the time. Mexico was 11 at the time.
Well, so now US is gonna be number 1. We know that. I mean, come on.
Straight to the top. Yeah.
You win the Nations League, that sends you right up to the top.
Brazil gone. England gone. All roads lead to the great old USA.
That's it, man.
No, I actually was pretty amazed that there's actually 2 teams that aren't even part of FIFA in this tournament.
That's pretty amazing.
So drink it in, fans. Drink it in, and probably don't watch until like the semifinals. But
these guys are just fighting for a sandwich. That's all. That's why they're here.
Just get on a plane. Put these shoes on. But
that was fun. I enjoyed that.
We'll go through the 20th of July. Bonus points. Yeah, I'll give you one for bonus points.
Or a bonus assing. Either one.
Yeah, it could be either. Let's see. Since they are our guests, let's say Qatar, however you want to say it, and Guatemala.
I will say, just for the purpose of FIFA corruption, Qatar.
Yes, Qatar. Clearly Qatar. I thought I could swerve you with that one. And I don't have the population stats on Qatar. But, again, Jamaica, for me, pound-for-pound champs. 2.7 million people. I mean, although pretty much all they do is run track and play soccer. That's like the only sports they care about. So you could field some good teams.
They are very good at track. So, yes, that is true.
Panama, not disrespected, at 78 in the world. Only 4.3 million people live there.
And one of them is David Lee Roth.
In some kind of weird backwards way, Grenada, at that 160 that we talked about. Population, 112,000. So,
okay.
That's basically, I don't know, Visalia is the 160th best team in the world.
DJ LeMahieu will be proud.
Yes. Bryson loves it.
That's
But,
right. The Visalia Vandal, Bryson DeChambeau.
we will keep you updated on all the happenings of the Gold Cup. For now, I shall close the Gold Cup guide, only to be updated as things develop. But, of course, we did have a big UFC fight over the weekend. So, as always, we must check in with the fight doctor before the end of the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. The heavyweight champion of the world.
All right. Feels like fight night all over again every time I hear that.
Damn right. So yes, we did have a big pay-per-view on Saturday night in Las Vegas. Big crowd there. City went off. I guess this weekend was kind of like the unofficial reopening of Vegas. I know, like big Garth Brooks concert, Justin Bieber played, some comedians were in town, did some shows. So big weekend in Vegas here. All the stars turning out for the big trilogy fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. And as you can see here, Dustin Poirier getting the win due to,
It's all there in the heat map. It's all there in the heat map.
Just look at the heat map there. Conor McGregor breaks his leg during the, I guess it officially broke at the end of the round, although I've seen quite a few videos of where that leg could have initially snapped earlier in the round when he was throwing lots of kicks. Look, I'll say this, like the fight actually opened up kind of how Dustin Poirier said it would. He said, I think Conor is going to throw a bunch of leg kicks because he knows how bad I fucked his leg up with those leg kicks in our last fight. And Conor did that, went out there, threw a ton of kicks. Then at some point in time, Poirier, did some few nice exchanges and then took Conor down, kept him there, just kind of bashed his head in with elbows for a couple minutes. They get back to the feet. Conor steps forward to throw a strike, and when the leg broke when he stepped forward, so then when he stepped back, he just rolled all over it, and it was officially over by then. Kind of the big talking point the last couple days has been Conor's actions afterwards. I don't know. Ron, I think you did see that, correct?
I did see a little bit, like his interview with Rogan when he was on the ground.
That in itself was bizarre as hell. It's like, okay, this guy's leg is broken, but hey, let's just have him lay here so Joe Rogan can talk to him a little bit.
Oh, Dan's like, get in there with the mic, Joe.
But so I mean, kind of immediately after the fight, you could see Conor was shouting at the ref like, "Hey, make sure you say this is a doctor stoppage." And then he started shouting. I didn't see this initially. I didn't hear this initially, but there was actually a video that came out today of somebody that was sitting like first row behind where Conor was sitting on the ground, where he basically started screaming at Poirier, like, be careful what you say on the mic. I'll shoot you in your sleep, kind of stuff like that. Which that's actually why Dustin started taunting him afterwards. He did the Vince McMahon strut and kind of started talking shit about Conor during the post-fight interview. I gotta say, it was sad and desperate is what it was. Like, I don't think I've never hidden the fact that, like, I'm pretty sick of Conor's antics. I think, his initial run to the top was a ton of fun. His run from just being the no-name guy that fought on a card on Fuel TV to becoming a 2-division champ was a ton of fun. Then once he became the champ and his focuses went elsewhere, he held up 2 weight classes so he could go box Mayweather. His shtick became very old. His insults weren't very good anymore. It was just more like, I don't know, just him being more rude than anything. I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel bad for the guy. You never want anybody to get injured, but I don't know. He's just been completely different since he won the 2-division titles. So,
I'm back.
I'm glad to have you back. I don't necessarily think Conor's done. I think he can still come back. He can still, have the Diaz trilogy fight. There's some other fights that he can have, and look, he's a great self-promoter, and he's got this cult-like fans that will follow him and do anything he does. So like he can still make money fights, but as far as being a top challenger anymore, that's out the window. Like it's just gone. That mystique is gone. People aren't going to fear him anymore. Kind of people are going to want to challenge him because the blueprint to beat him is out there from the second fight with Poirier, and just the fear and mystique is gone. Like people used to be scared of this guy when they went to press conferences. Now it's what's there to fear.
Yeah, and right before, because the writing was on the wall that my camera was going to cut off, so I just immediately set up to turn it back on. But I agree with you. It seemed kind of desperate. I mean, at this point, Conor will still draw, just as, I don't know, pay-per-view, whatever. I hope it doesn't get to the point where he is fighting a Paul brother or something insane.
Oh, that's on the way.
But it is probably on the way, because it seems like he's just got the mouth left. I mean, at his age, 33, it's not like impossible for him to have productive fights again, but he doesn't have
33 on Wednesday, correct.
Doesn't have any mystique, around him anymore. And going out with that kind of look also is just sort of like, all right, what are you doing, man? I'm like, I get it. Like, at least you have, like, you could just kind of go back and all your stand base could say, well, what would have happened if he would have made it through? Like that was a freak injury kind of thing. But he just hammered down the total opposite way. Like, I got to just go even more full heel now, even though I have one heel. And it just seemed very desperate. Like, I don't know.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. It is, of course it's MMA. Anything can happen. One punch can change everything. I will say this. The way the first round went, I don't imagine that fight would have lasted much longer, especially because historically, Conor is at his best in the first round.
Right.
Poirier is at his worst in the first round. And Poirier was just dropping elbows on his head for 2 straight minutes in that fight. So it wasn't going to get any better for Conor. Again, maybe he gets a lucky right. But, that's kind of another thing I think is a ton of Conor's great knockouts came in the featherweight division. Now that he's stepped up into lightweight and even welterweight, that extra weight those guys has helps them absorb those punches. So I don't know if his punches are as effective as they once were. I mean, when he knocked out Poirier, that was when Poirier was a 145 fighter. He's now fought him twice and hasn't been able to, to even really stun him. So I don't know. It's, again, I don't know where Conor goes. Dana's not going to suspend him or do anything for the comments he made because John Jones has gotten away with practically literal murder and still is in the UFC. So there's no way he's in Conor's a way bigger draw than Jones is. So there's no way, I know Dana said he will make the fourth fight between these two. I think the problem with that is Poirier's next fight is for the title. And if Poirier is the champ, how can you justify Conor getting a title shot when he's 1-3 in the lightweight division? Again, I think there are still money fights for him out there. Again, the Diaz trilogy fight is the big one on the table. But unless something drastically changes and coming off this injury that's not very likely, he's probably not going to be anywhere near a title anytime soon.
He's going to have a long time before he can even really get back to any kind of serious training at this point. So, it's confusing to figure out how the next path forward for him as a pro fighter is going to look. But as we know, he will draw. He's not just to the point where it's like, oh, this is the last time you're ever going to see him fight by any means. But it's very cloudy kind of situation right now as far as his future.
And I also want to say, and unfortunately, all the news has been on Conor, but that it's typically what happens with Conor fights. I mean, God, credit to Dustin Poirier, man. This guy, obviously, I've watched a ton of his fights over the years, but I kind of sat down and thought about this guy's resume is pretty insane. 2 wins over Conor McGregor, 2 wins over Max Holloway, a win over Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, Jim Miller back in sort of the Jim Miller prime. Like he's got an amazing resume on here, and now he's gonna again get the title shot against Charles Oliveira, which actually now that I've mentioned him by name, I do also want to point out this happened this weekend. So here was Charles Oliveira. They're showing off, each fighter, when they win the title, they get their individual plaque. I know, Ronnie, you kind of asked about the diamonds here. So you get one red diamond for for winning the title, and then each silver one will be replaced with a red one for each defense. So that's what's going on with that. But you look at this and you think, okay, well, there's that's kind of interesting. There's nothing, the plaque's cool, but why would they even have this picture on here? Well, they spelled Charles Oliveira's name wrong. Literally, this guy's that makes these little designs. His one job is to not misspell the champion's name, and he forgot the I after the E in Charles Oliveira. So Oliveira took that with in good fun, but come on, man, like that's literally your one job.
Yeah, the guy that did it at the Euros did it right there on the spot. He didn't mess up the word Italy. Come on.
Exactly. But but outside of the main event, there were again still some good fights. I don't have the heat map because there wasn't really much to the heat map, but the co-main event, Gilbert Burns getting the win over Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson, just no real attack at all the whole fight. I think he had one head kick that didn't even really hit Burns that much. So Gilbert Burns gets the decision win. Now we go into the heavyweight battle between Tai Tuivasa and America's sweetheart, Greg Hardy. This fight did not last long, and you can see by the heat map, Hardy got fucked up.
When you get that hot Cheeto head, you usually know what happens. Also, look at Oliveira, just looking like an untouched stallion that he is.
Yeah, Tuivasa just dropped him with a big left. Actually, Tuivasa had just gotten rocked by Hardy, but he recovered pretty quickly through a big left that just instantly dropped Hardy. And Tuivasa, being the absolute maniac he is, started drinking beer out of a shoe in the ring.
Yes.
And actually, he had told Ariel Helwani, if I win, any fan that offers me a shoe of beer when I walk to the back, I will drink it. And several fans did offer that. So he was had a nice buzz going by the time he got to the back. But he's an absolute maniac. And look, who doesn't enjoy watching Hardy get knocked out?
Nobody. Get that man a shoe and a beer.
Then the other notable discussion on the main event here was the opener between Sugar Sean O'Malley and Chris Moutinho. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I mean, look, you can see the total strikes there. O'Malley landed 230 out of 318. That's an insane percentage. 117 to the head. I know the Fight Phlebotomist and I talked about it on Friday a little bit, like, having seen a couple of Moutinho's fights, he has no head movement, no head protection. Oh, boy, did it play out that way. But I will say this. That dude is tough as hell. Like, how he didn't go down, I will never know. Because he took just so many straight shots to the face and just kept walking through it. He posed no threat to O'Malley at any point in time, but O'Malley, a guy who is known for knocking dudes out, could not knock this guy out. Eventually, I know he won by TKO, but that's just because at some point in time, Herb Dean stepped in and was like, dude, you've just taken like 10 straight shots to the face. Like, I have to stop this. Which did lead to a little bit of a debate. And I got to say, I felt conflicted on it because, look, I will never fault a ref for looking after fighter safety. In that sense, I think Herb Dean did a great job because, again, this guy took, you could see, so many shots. But there was 27 seconds left in the fight. Like, Herb Dean could have stopped the fight for the exact same reason at any point in time, and he didn't. So I'm kind of like, let the man finish. Like, let him get to the final bell. We know he's not going to
walk out of there.
And like, I know he did take 10 straight shots to the face, but like, he was still moving forward. He wasn't wobbling. He wasn't on shaking legs. Like, it just kind of like the fact that Herb Dean decided to stop it when he did was a little weird. And like, again, I'm all for fighter safety. I will usually go in the favor of fighter safety, but at that point in time, man, just let the guy finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, and I didn't get to see this being in the car, but just getting the secondhand reports from Tyler and what I was seeing online. The fact that he did, yes, he was taking a beating, but continued to take that beating willingly, kind of was painting like this Tatum, Homer Simpson sort of picture of like, oh, that's why they picked this guy. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was never in question that O'Malley was going to win this. I think I said on Friday, like, if he doesn't knock this guy out in the first round, he shouldn't be fighting. But seeing the unreal ability to take punishment that Moutinho did, like, I can't fault O'Malley for not knocking him out. Like, this was just an unbelievable show of I don't even know if I want to say heart, just durability. Like,
just stop, dude. Just God.
Like, again, like, Kurt. Yes, he absolutely was the brick hit house. He was the Southern dandy.
The Northeast dandy.
Look, I will say this: like, this might give Moutinho another fight in the UFC. Again, like, not a fight he'll probably win. He's a good regional fighter, but good regional fighter versus a guy that is a potential top 10 fighter in his weight class in the UFC. Like, there's just a massive difference. I think I texted both you and Justin, like, the Moutinho would kill the average Joe on the street, and he is getting absolutely destroyed by O'Malley. So that's, again, just another one of those further incidents when I hear somebody, like some drunk guy watching, oh, I could beat this fighter. No, you could. You really could.
You definitely could.
You could. You wouldn't even get a shot at him.
The guy that's totally getting his ass kicked is an absolute psychopath. Like, we can see that right now.
Yeah, the guy that is getting his ass kicked, again, would probably whoop the average person's ass, like, pretty easily. So, just real interesting. And look, Moutinho, like I was kind of following it. Like, his Twitter followers and Instagram followers were just skyrocketing after this fight. So he definitely won the hearts of the people. Again, O'Malley looked good, but at the same time, you got to say, well, okay, like, this is a guy that's, if he was hired by the UFC, would not be in the top, like, 40 in the weight class. So hopefully this gives O'Malley better fights in the future, although I know this was kind of like a last minute, like, week and a half notice thing, so can't really fault him for that. But yeah, man, Moutinho, that was oh boy.
As far as Moutinho, though, like you said, I thought you made a great point. I mean, definitely not someone that's just gonna really rise up any kind of ranks or probably even have a chance of winning in his next UFC fight, depending on who that would be. But probably gets him another one, on some like fight night undercard, maybe, So that could be potentially life-changing for him as well. So
I believe he did. I believe he did get a performance of the night bonus too. So that's a nice $75,000 bonus for him, which I guarantee you that alone is way more than he's made in his career in MMA. I can absolutely say that with complete certainty. So yeah, I mean, look, it might get him another UFC fight on an undercard, or if not, it could get him some extra money for go fighting at Cage Fury or something like that. Like, his rate will go up because they're like, hey, this is the dude that can't be knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. The brick hit house. That's how you market.
The brick hit house. So overall, fun card. I enjoyed it. Definitely fun. Ending in a terrible way again. I'm not a fan of Conor, but you never want to see somebody get injured like that. But still, fun card. Definitely worth the hype.
Yeah, I mean, the ending very weird, but again, if you're a Conor stan out there, you can always have that fallback of like, he still had a chance. We're not going to know, even though Tyler said it's pretty clear the way it was going, but still, I don't know, it just adds whatever weird wrinkle of mystery there. And Greg Hardy got knocked out quickly, which was great.
Gotta love that.
Moutinho took a ton of insane amount of damage that humans shouldn't take, but hung in there. So entertaining, maybe not in the most conventional ways that you would think, especially kind of on a card that was really built around this marquee event, and that marquee event just went totally insane with the injury. But entertaining in a non-conventional way for sure.
Just a peek behind the curtain for you guys too. Right before we went on air, Ron was telling me that he if I wanted to, he could Photoshop this and just put a punching bag in there in place of Moutinho on the heat map. But look, we got to deliver the heat map. That's what we do.
Yeah, we got to be consistent, as you know. I mean, see, we get the best heat maps in the game.
That's right. But yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought up Conor Stanley. It's one thing I've definitely noticed over the years is I put MMA fans into 3 categories. You can call us pretentious of me. That's fine. Like I'll deal with it. I'm not saying any one is better than the other, but I feel like there's MMA fans. There are fans that got into it because of Conor, but then learned more about MMA.
Right.
And then there's Conor fans who only watch Conor fights and think he is the best thing ever.
Blindly,
and those people
yes.
are impossible to talk MMA with because A, they don't know the sport, and B, they will just say Conor's the best despite the fact that he has lost 3 out of 4.
Well, there's one person that doesn't care as long as they keep buying it.
I don't give a fuck.
Right. Straight to the bank.
That's it. Big money Dana.
That's pretty much all we have, though. Thank you guys again. It's going to be we'll get back with you on Wednesday. Talk a little All-Star game. We're going to have this little drought of baseball. The NBA Finals still going on.
A drought of everything, really.
Yeah, it's a slow week. It's a slow week. Gold Cup.
That's it. There we go. We will have all the Gold Cup action for you.
It all goes in the book. Keeping track of it all right here.
There we go.
Mostly in the book.
Mostly in the book.
Shout out Martinique. FIFA, let them in, you cowards.
I mean, like, hopefully, the soccer historian Justin can jump on next time. But I mean, if you try and pull that game with him, he's just going to nail it. He would have called your BS on that last one that neither one was ranked by FIFA.
He would have immediately said no, erroneous. This question is off the table. I know.
He would have said, "How dare you," and then left the show.
When I saw that he wasn't calling in, I was like, I'm gonna pull out the wild card. It's the only time I might be able to get away with this. But we'll make it happen for you guys. We'll find something to talk about. Plenty of build up to the Olympics with no fans. NBA Finals, All-Star Game, and then baseball will come back, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there we go. We'll have some for it. Hey, look at that. Look, we are actually. Hang on, sorry. I know I had that dropped in here. Look at this, folks. We are 8 days away from having Olympic sports. Like, I know everybody advertises that it starts on the 23rd because that's when the opening ceremonies are. But folks, next Tuesday we will have 3 Olympic softball games. Am I going to watch them? You better fucking believe I'm watching those games.
And look, what's up? Italy, United States. Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
I heard they're putting the Euro trophy on the line for that game.
Put it up, dude. Nations League trophy.
Euro trophy versus Nations League. That's it. Yeah, winner take all. Winner take all.
Playing for pinks out here. Let's go.
So yeah, we'll still have stuff for you come Wednesday. We'll still try and put some sort of a show together.
But no, thank you guys as always. Shout out to Sippy. I saw you hopping in the comments. Tom as well, making a rare appearance around these parts. Shannon, thank you for tuning in. Jaime, of course. Jaime, my brother. Sorry, it's not your fault. It's not Jaime's fault.
It's not Jaime's fault.
I packed the FIFA ranking questions. It was full of trapdoors and smoke mirrors, all kinds of pitfalls. So it's not your fault. But we will be back on Wednesday, and you guys take care. Be safe out there. Tyler, anything else you got before we hop off here?
Nah, man. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back here on Wednesday. The drill. Keep the fire.
Keep the fire.